The first day when I arrived in Scotland, people asked for a name. I had no idea what they were saying, so I said, okay. But otherwise, just try and reason with them. Or you can call the police. And she slapped me. I'm like, what?
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today is a special episode. I invited one of my friends to interview with us, and she's like a legend in my university days. She's the party queen, and she graduated with honors degree, and she worked part-time and earned her first money to buy her flat in Glasgow. And when she graduated, she got accepted by Rolls-Royce Aerospace. So I always had so many questions for her, and I also post a status asking my followers if you had some question for her, and I do accumulated some of the questions, and let's get started.
Okay.
First, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Connie. I currently live in Glasgow. I graduated with in the same university, so we all graduated from Glasgow University. Did my internship with Rolls-Royce, had a change of career, and now I'm a teacher. So loads of kind of life-changing decisions.
Okay, so some of my followers are interested in your experience. Can you introduce when you come to the UK and how was it like at that time?
Sure. I came to the UK when I was around 14, 15. So I was just finishing secondary school in Shanghai, and then I moved to UK. The education system is very different. I think the education there is really easy. The only struggle I had was with the language, because the Scottish kind of accent is quite hard to understand.
We're standing here down on the borders. We're just outside Melrose, which is a famous.
But once you get past that, the study bit and the education side is really nice and easy. You just need to do kind of 2 years of higher time to go to university, so it's not as intense as the kind of learning environment in Shanghai. I just found it quite nice and easy. I left school quite early. I left school at the age of 16. I then did an internship with the local council because I was too young to go to university at the time. My parents told me that maybe just wait for 2 years, gain some work experience before you start university. So I did 2 years with the local council. I worked in the local council's legal department. I also worked with this European partnership department as well. I did some secretary, receptionist. I did loads of like letter typing and stuff, and that really helped me understand and learn English.
Oh, okay. You answered part of my question because I wanted to ask for my audience, how can you speak English like a local? I do think, first of all, to get understand the Scottish accent is one thing, but also learn to how to speak like a local is another.
I was really lucky that Scotland was the first country that I visited when I got to UK, because all the people are very friendly. They are not afraid of you making mistakes. So because the whole Chinese education system, we can read, we can write, but we struggle to speak because we don't have that environment. But when I got to the UK, everyone just encouraged me to speak. I made lots of silly mistakes. The first day when I arrived in Scotland, people asked for a name. I had no idea what they were saying, so I said, okay. And then they asked me about my age, and I was like, yes, okay. As you do spend more time, as you feel more confident, you start to speak. I really learned English. I learned to speak better English during my work experience, because that time you really have to speak. I remember my first kind of job with the local council was a receptionist. I have to answer loads of telephones. I was so nervous because even just to take their name, I have to say, right, pardon me, can you spell your name for me? And I have to ask them like 3-4 times. I felt really embarrassed. But when they heard my accent this time, they knew I was foreign, and they said, oh, just take your time, I'll teach you how to spell. So they were all really nice with me. They just encouraged me to speak and continue to speak. So as you grow more confidence, the speaking part just comes naturally.
So I can totally relate with you, because when I first went to Glasgow, I asked them how much is it, and they said something, and I gave them like £50. they look at me like a madame or something. So I can totally understand when you talk about that Scotland is a really friendly place.
Definitely.
That you feel comfortable to speak. I feel so comfortable there. So what I'm speaking about is like 10 sentences every day. How's your day? I'm good, thank you, and you, and that's it. Because they're so friendly.
Definitely. Yeah, you just need to keep speaking and not afraid of making mistakes. Even the locals do make like grammar mistakes when they speak.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
okay,
you
it's
make
perfect.
Chinese grammar mistakes.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
perfectly
fine.
normal.
Yeah.
So talk to people, and some of them they might even want to correct you. They tell you, oh, this is best phrase, this is best way to kind of say these things, and just listen and learn from it.
So gaining confidence is quite essential to
Definitely.
speak. Talking about universities, like can you tell us what you're majored in and how do you think going to a university influences you?
So I did the same degree as Wei. We
Not the same.
You're not the same. I always
You're
thought
mechanical engineering. I'm
with a little bit of aeronautics.
aeronautical engineer.
It's a degree that will give me a job easily. I didn't think about anything else. I didn't have any passion for it at the time.
I know.
didn't even know what it was about. But as you kind of spend more time, you do get intrigued by loads of aspects.
Really? You didn't even go to classes?
Yes. I spent too much time working on like different jobs that I
Yeah.
hardly attended.
That's the question I wanted to ask. How do you allocate time between education and part-time jobs?
I don't know. I think I didn't prioritize things right.
You prioritize your part-time job.
Yes, I did. I think I thought making money and those kind of things was more important, which now I regret. I wish I spent more time kind of focusing, learning about those things. It should be quite interesting, but I missed out so many like lectures, so many tutorials. I think during my first year I even got a warning letter to say that if I don't attend any tutorials I get kicked out. That's why I got really concerned, so I tried to spend more like tutorials, and I think I fall asleep in so many lectures because once you miss a few you have no idea what the teacher is talking about, and you have to do like loads of things at your own time, and it just makes things not so interesting, because if you actually pay attention to those lectures they're talking about really interesting aspects.
And that's for you, because I didn't miss any of the lectures and I still didn't get what they were talking about.
She studies so hard. She's always in the library. She works super hard, but she never sees me in class. I never see her in the library because I don't go, and then she doesn't see me.
Okay, and some of my followers, they are interested, like when they were students studying abroad, what kind of part-time job would you recommend them to take?
One of the good one was I was
Go to a Hong Kong restaurant and clean dishes.
No, they never. They pay you like minimum wage, and don't. So the first job you can try and get a job with the university. Sometimes there's like library jobs. One of the job I did was I think what they call this. It's like the accommodation admin assistant. So I was living student accommodations for the first 2 years of my university degree. One of the job I took was like basically when people get locked out, you have all those like special universal keys. You go and open it for them. They actually pay you pretty well. They give you a discount towards your accommodation. They also pay you as well. So that's one of the job I did. And then because I need to look for something that's like outside of my university time, I did a job in like a theater and also a nightclub. But then I found it was taking over so much of my time, because with nightclub jobs I was always finishing like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes classes not safest city, so probably not advised to take a job like that, but definitely get something with a university.
Okay.
Nice and safe, you get paid well.
And some of my followers, they're interested in like what's the minimum wage that could be paid.
I think I've not been like in touch with that. I think the last I heard was maybe around £10 per hour. So if you do work any jobs in the UK, so bear in mind that's the minimum wage. If you get less than that, you need to speak to your employer, get concerned.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you get accepted by Rolls? Because I mean, like not many Chinese or Asian people work there.
I think I was really lucky. I never thought I would be able to go work for a company like that, because they've got so many applications. But what I do advise is, if you think about graduate job, definitely start at least 2 years ahead. So I didn't apply for a graduate scheme straight away. I did a 5-year course. So at the end of 3rd year, I applied for a summer internship with Rolls-Royce. I applied for a few summer internships with the companies, but they were my top kind of choice. So when I got accepted, it was just for the summer internship, and you have to make a really good impression with the company. So it was for 10 weeks. You get paid really well, and you move to a different part of the UK. So you move to a different city, but they provide accommodations and stuff. But do make a really good impression. Be there super early. Always ask for extra work. No, pretend. Always ask for extra work, and then never leave. Like on time. Try and see if there's any other like job you can help with those engineers. So make a really good impression, and they remember you. And then when next year comes, see if you can continue the summer internship and then move on to the graduate scheme.
How was the interview like in Rolls-Royce?
Because I remember my assessment day for Rolls-Royce. It was literally in the beginning, it was a kind of like a website assessment. You do that first, and if you got accepted, you go to second stage, which is telephone interview. If you got accepted to that, you then move on to the actual assessment day. So you go to Derby for the day. They did so many activities with you. So they did individual presentation, ask you about your school experience, your work experience, and then they ask you about your they want to see your kind of working within a group. So we were like, there was 5-6 of us. We got like tasked something, and they want to see you not only making contributions but also take leadership, like telling people, giving instructions on what to do. Then we did IQ test. We did some reasoning, literacy kind of test, and we also did kind of mechanical knowledge. So they were testing my physics, math skills. And then, so it was a long day of non-stop testing until the end. There were so many applicants, but I was really lucky that I didn't do well in some of the aspects. But I told them that if you give me the choice to prove myself, I'm a really fast learner.
Okay, that's a quite stringent process. Connie is the person that I always look up to, not because she's successful in the fine world, but she's also very resilient, and she always get bounced back when she's defeated. So some of my followers, they were quite interested in your life philosophy. And can you list some of them and give some examples to explain?
So I would say there's always stages I feel like, everything's too much and I'm never going to succeed. But bottom line is, just trust you. Everyone has so much potential. If you don't stretch yourself, you don't know where your comfort zone is. So you need to just keep believing yourself and try as hard as you can. All those things will come to you. Trying to think of examples. 1 year into my job, I found out that I was pregnant. I spoke to my company to see that, what do I do? Should I try maybe work part-time? When they said it's not an option, and I felt a bit depressed because I couldn't do a life and family balance. So I left the job, and I was a bit depressed for a whole year. I didn't know what to do because I feel like I let everyone down. But and then I picked up, people said, why don't you try teaching? You get really good holidays, you can spend time with your kids, but at the same time, you're doing something really meaningful. So I went back to university. I did a teaching kind of diploma, and I then started working as a secondary school teacher. So there was times I feel like, oh no, I've got children, this is like the end of my work career. But no, you always find something else to do. So hopefully that's a decent example.
Oh, that's a very decent example. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so for those working moms out there, yeah, you're doing amazing.
Yeah. You always answer a question before I'm actually asking you.
I can read your mind.
My question is, what kind of advice would you give to those who are considering marriage or even conceiving babies?
Always find a balance. I mean, yes, work can be really daunting, and having children takes over your whole life, but always have some space for yourself. You need at least 1 day a week just for you, for doing nothing, just for you.
Do you have it?
I now do. In the beginning, I felt like I'm never going to have any moment by myself. But now I found a balance. I found a work and children balance. And then I've always got that 1 day when I can just be myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So we come to the second part. It's about our story. Can you still remember the first time when we met?
I remember, I think, because there's not many Chinese girls in our course, and I think there's only 2 of them, and then Wei is always super friendly. She approached me. I'm like, who's this person? Why is she talking to me? Because I'm a very like reserved. I'm a really reserved person. Sometimes I feel like I'm in my own little world. I don't go to lectures often, so I hardly know anyone. But I'm really glad she approached me because she really made me feel like, oh, there's a reason I go to lecture, because I can talk to her. But in the beginning, I'm like, why is she talking to me?
Really? Yeah. I'm approaching you first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but otherwise, I'll just be like in my little shell and not talk to people. And then, but she introduced me to her friends, and then she kind of made me more outgoing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, you have so many friends and you don't need more
No, they're all like
anymore.
fake friends. Facebook friends doesn't count.
I'll post this in the YouTube. Hopefully it will spread like to your friends and they will know they're your fake friends.
I didn't say that, take it back. She's my fake friend, but you're all my real friends.
Since you mentioned you don't have so many friends, well, I'm so honored to be friended with you like for so many years.
I don't know, we just get on really well, and I think you understand me. Sometimes we might not like chat to each other all the time because of the distance, but when we're together, it's like we've never like separated.
Wow. Oceans apart, day after day. What would you talk to us, the friendship, like in 10 years time?
I think we're still be in the same situation. We see each other like once, twice a year, and I still feel like we've never separated. We're always together. We're in the same city. That kind of feeling.
Oh, that's a good hope.
Yeah.
Let's see in 10 years time.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. One question I left out, although you mentioned, I myself feel the same as well. Scottish people, they are really friendly, but you cannot rule out some extreme possibilities. There might be prejudice in foreign countries for us Asian people.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered it, and how do you see it?
Oh yes, I actually got slapped once on the face. I was walking up Sakyo Street, and those 2 random drunken girls came up to me.
Yeah.
They did the usual, oh, you guys come to our country and steal jobs, and she slapped me. I'm like, what? I actually started fighting with them, which I wouldn't do again, because they were quite big, so they're quite aggressive. I wouldn't do that again. There were always people, you know, who judge you based on what race you are, but just ignore them. We are amazing. Don't give up. I always say, if they're that, you know, perfect, why can't they do our jobs? You know, there's plenty of job opportunities in UK. Yeah, we're not stealing anyone's job. We're just doing what we're capable of. So yeah, believe that. Yeah, just ignore what they say.
Okay.
They're just sad. Violence doesn't solve anything. Okay. You can reason with them, although some people.
Or you can get bigger and fight with them.
Yeah, or just learn martial art, know how to self-defense, and then you won't get beaten up.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just try and reason with them, or you can call the police. Because racist kind of attack is a huge thing.
Yes.
So the police would deal with it.
For me, at that time, I feel a little bit shameful of myself, and I was not confident. That's why I go to library all the time, because I will get number 1 in my lecture and exams to prove that I'm strong. But as the time goes by, I realize that I am who I am, and I'm valuable, and have so many good friends who cherished me, and that kind of built up my confidence. So I said prejudice is something that really locks us. If we are confident with it, that wouldn't be a problem for us.
Yep.
Okay.
Never let those comments hit you. They're just there's always going to be nasty people, but don't believe in what they say.
Yeah, it was so happy to talk with you after how many years have we not seen each other?
I think since COVID, at least 4.
4 years.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we can.
So I grabbed her and got her to record the interview with us the minute when she got back. So thank you so much for the interview today. Please let me know if you like this kind of interviews. If you do, I can arrange more, because I have some more friends who are also interested and talented. So thank you very much. Bye bye.
Lovely to meet you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.